28% of what, DJ?
Yeah, 28% of buyers last year, that percentage found the home they were looking for through their real estate agent. So the other 72% found it on their own.
Wait, so what?
Yeah, I'll say it again. I probably should have said it better. But basically, 72% of home buyers actually found their property by themselves. They went to Zillow, Redfin, Instagram, a friend who heard something, maybe buyers. They're really doing the searching of the job, of the realtor job. And right now in markets where inventory is super tight and listings move quickly, this is actually a real problem.
Yeah, and it actually makes sense because if you're not bringing the home, what are you bringing?
Yeah, so I'm DJ Paris. That's Tim Littleton. Today we are going to open 4 hidden doors for you that most buyers agents never knock on. So stay with us. So I'm going to say this again, 28%, that's NAR, their 2024 profile of home buyers and sellers, which is the most recent data we have.
Yes, and that's the share of buyers who found their home through their agent.
Exactly. So let's say it a different way. 1 in 4 found their home through their agents. The other 3 in 4, they found it themselves. More than half, of course, on the internet. Same report.
Yeah, and that gap's only been growing.
Yeah, for years. And the internet's been quietly eating the I'll find you the perfect home part of the buyer's agent's job. In a normal market, that's annoying. You can still drive them around, offer perspective, help them write the offer. But in the relationships holds.
Yeah, but not now.
Yeah, not in this market. So your buyer is logging into Zillow 40 times a day. They see every listing the minute it hits. They probably saw it before you did.
Yes, and most buyers out there always send their agent the listing first. Yeah. Almost always.
Yeah, super common. And here's what's happening underneath that. The buyer sees nothing they like, or they see the home, they love it, they lose it in a bidding war. Then they wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4. And during those weeks, what is the agent doing?
Sending MLS alerts.
Right. MLS alerts, they are already getting from Zillow. So you're basically a duplicate notification service.
And that's brutal.
That is brutal. So here's the part that should really scare agents. The buyer goes quiet. They stop responding to your text. They stop asking about showings. They're not mad. They're not gone. They're just drifting.
Yeah. And that's the silent killer.
Yeah, weeks of silence is what every buyer's agent loses to, not a competitor. Silence. They solely decide, I can do this myself.
So how do agents fight that?
Yeah, so let's talk about that. I want to give some reasons about why this all happens. So there's basically 3 reasons. One is called the MLS trap. So agents are trained to think the MLS is inventory. So when the MLS has nothing, the agent thinks the market has nothing. And agents aren't wrong on the surface. They're just wrong underneath the surface.
Yes, and there's inventory that isn't on the MLS.
Yeah, and there's a lot of it. So the NAR 2024 profile says roughly 6% of all home sales that year, or actually the previous year, 2023, were for sale by owner. No agent, no listing agreement, no MLS.
Wow, so 6%.
Right, and if we think about that a different way, it's 1 in every 17 homes. So that's not a rounding error. That's real inventory most buyers' agents never touch.
Yeah, and that's just FSBOs. For sale by owners. That's not, counting expireds.
Or withdrawals, or pocket listings, or PLN, right? Or I've been thinking of selling in the spring. All of that's invisible from the MLS. So that's reason number 1, which I call the trap.
So what's reason number 2, DJ?
Yeah, I call it the activity gap, whereas the agent just doesn't know what to do next. They've shown their buyer 8 active listings in their range. Nobody, they didn't bite on any of them. So they're like, what do I do now? Most agents, they wait. They check the MLS twice a day and hope that something comes up.
Yeah, and waiting feels like working. It isn't.
Yeah, you're right. It isn't working. It isn't working, and it isn't actually something you should call work. So pardon the pun there. But basically, the agent doesn't know what to do. The whole buyer's agent's business is the model is built around showings, right? And if there's nothing to show, the job kind of feels broken. So agents psychologically check out. They're like, what can I do? The market's bad. And they pull back.
Yeah, they stop hunting.
Yeah, they stop hunting. They start waiting. And while they're waiting, the buyer is drifting.
So before we get into the fix, I want everyone watching to do something right now, if you can. Pull up your buyer list right now, open your contacts or your CRM, whatever you use.
Yeah, please do that because we can wait. But I want you just to pick one buyer that you're currently working with, someone who you genuinely want to help, someone who's been looking for a while. Maybe they haven't found, the inventory's tight. Hold that name in your head, hold their target neighborhood in your head, or the zip code or suburb or city, wherever they want to live.
All right, I got mine.
Okay, good. So let's hold that name, hold that geographic area. We're going to do something with both before we sign off. Just hold it in your mind. So here's the framework. So we call it the 4 doors system. 4 sources of inventory most buyers agents never knock on. Together, they create a parallel market alongside the MLS.
So what's door number 1, DJ?
Yeah, it's expireds and withdrawals. So homes that were on the MLS in the last 6 months didn't sell, came off. The owner directly wanted to sell, but they got tired of their agent, or the price was wrong, or life happened, or something else. But these are warm prospects.
Yeah. So how does the buyer agents use that?
Well, the first thing you do is you pull a list from the MLS, filter by your buyer's neighborhood and price range. You'll see dozens of homes depending on the market. Now you start calling or door knock. The script is really simple. Hi, I noticed your home at 432 Oak Street came off the market last month. I'm not calling to list your home. I'm actively working with a buyer who loves your neighborhood, is looking for exactly your type of property. And if you've ever thought about selling again, I'd love to show them your property.
And that's it?
Yeah, that's it. Now, most sellers or possible sellers, they're not going to answer the phone. Or if they do, they'll tell you they're not selling. The ones who do answer, now you've got a conversation, and a few of those turn into showings.
So that name you've been holding, it's almost time. Just stay with us.
Yeah. So door number 2 is FSBOs, for sale by owners. So they're already advertising. They're on Zillow, Facebook Marketplace, maybe a sign in the yard. They're trying to save the listing side commission. Great. You're not asking them to pay you. You're asking them to let your buyer in.
So most for sale by owners will work with a buyer's agent if you bring them the buyer.
Yeah, they're not going to work with a seller's agent. Well, a lot of them do actually end up working with a listing agent. Much harder sell because they want to try it themselves. But that is correct, Tim. Most will work with the buyer's agent. The script's even more simple. Hey, I'm a buyer's agent. I have a buyer interested in your home. Can we set up a time to come see it? My buyer covers my commission, not you. And that last line, my buyer covers the commission, not you. That last line clears up any objection right there.
Wow. So what's door number 3, DJ?
So this one's called the letter.
A letter.
Yeah, a letter. So to 10 owners in your buyer's target neighborhood, not a postcard, not a mailer, a letter, handwritten if you can do it.
So what do we say on that?
Yeah. Hey, hi, I'm a real estate agent. I'm not asking you to sell. I'm working with a family who wants to be on your street specifically. If you've ever considered moving, would you be open to a no pressure conversation?
Okay, so hold on, DJ, because I think a lot of us have sent out these letters before. Yeah. I think, we've heard of agents sending out 40 of them in a year. Got 2 calls back, both polite. No, not right now. And it ends up feeling like a waste of time.
And that is the right pushback. I'm so glad you said that, because here's what makes this one different. So 40 letters to nobody in particular really gets nothing. 10 letters to specific owners in a specific neighborhood for a specific buyer with a specific story, right? Like they get a different result. So the letter isn't marketing. It's a personal story. Hey, the Garcias have 2 kids. They want to be on Oak Street because their cousin lives at 412. That letter gets opened. That letter gets answered.
So the specificity, being very specific, changes everything.
Exactly. And here's door 4. We call this the agent network. So you text 5 local agents who work your buyer's neighborhood. The text says, hey, working with a serious buyer, 3 bedrooms, Lincoln Park, 800 to 950 K, anything coming on soon or any expireds you remember, cash strong, can close in 3 weeks. 5 texts, 5 seconds each, done.
And you do that every Monday.
Every Monday. Comment time. If you want to do this, or if you have done this and it's working for you, drop the number 4 FOUR or the number 4 in the comments. If you're going to open at least one of those doors this week, we want to see it. Now, I want to share with you too that if you are a luxury listing agent, you already know that you have to go find buyers. So if you list a $7 million property in your geographic area, I'm assuming that's going to be one of the more expensive listings, maybe the most expensive listing, depending on where you're practicing. Now, putting that on the MLS and syndicating it to Zillow, it's all well and good, and people take a look because it's interesting. How many people have that kind of cash? Very few. So that's sort of the trap of being a listing agent, is you actually have to go find the buyer. So we're kind of doing the reverse. Here, we're saying we already have the buyer. Now we got to go find the listing. But this is where you can show so much value. So those are those 4 different strategies. We'll come back to them in a moment. So Tim, what's the big objection to this? So,
DJ, my buyers don't have any time for this. They want to see houses now. They don't want, to wait 6 weeks for some letter campaign to maybe be producing something.
Right. Yeah, that is the objection. So here's the answer to that. The 4 doors system runs in parallel with everything else. You're still showing MLS. You're still writing offers. The doors are what you do while you wait. So Tuesday morning, 15 minutes, you text the agent network. Wednesday, you mail 10 letters. Thursday, you call 5 expireds. That's about 90 minutes a week.
Yeah. And this builds inventory in the background.
Yeah, it does. So even if it's not right for your client, now you have other options for other clients. So it builds this pipeline. Week 1, maybe nothing. Week 2, maybe a conversation. Week 4, you've got a showing today that nobody else in the market knows about. And week 6, you might be writing an offer on that home that never, ever hit the MLS. And your buyer's sitting there going like, oh my God, how did you do that?
Yeah. And that's the moment.
Oh yeah, that's the moment when you go into hero status, right? The buyer stops drifting. They stop wondering if they need you. They need you, because the agent they thought was a duplicate notification service just found them and got them a home on Zillow that Zillow couldn't even find.
Yeah. So the answer to I don't have time is,
yeah, you don't have time not to. So the buyer you lose to silence is gone. The buyer you bring an off-market home to is yours for life.
Yeah, and if you've ever closed an off-MLS deal, drop the neighborhood in the comments. We want to see what's working in your market.
Yeah. And by the way, investors are like the masters of this, because what they're always looking for is investment opportunities that don't hit the MLS. Because as soon as they do, like every investor tries to gobble it up if it's a good opportunity. So they're always sending out letters to building owners going, hey, I know you're not probably thinking of selling, but I have an offer for you if you're interested. Like people sometimes take that, right? So it is actually, talk to some investors who go out and actively find things outside of the MLS, and you'll get all sorts of cool ideas. But let's just quickly do the math on this. So let's say you're a buyer's agent. You say you have 5 active clients right now in a tight market. You're probably closing one of those over the next 3 to 4 months. The other 4 half drift away to another agent, maybe half drift, or eventually just buy from a listing agent directly. They don't even use an agent.
Yeah, and that's the real loss, not the slow close. The buyers you never see get to closing on.
Right. And so now you apply the 4 doors technique. Even if you only open 1 door, say the letter, 10 letters every 2 weeks for a quarter.
Yeah. What is that, like 60 letters?
Yeah, exactly. 60 letters over that quarter. A few will produce a conversation. One of those actually might produce a deal.
Yeah. And that's 1 extra closing, a quarter.
1 extra closing per quarter from 1 door, right? Now stack all 4 of the doors.
Yeah. And that adds up to 1 extra closing a month you wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah. And you have your clients going, you're not going to believe my agent found something for me that wasn't even on the market, wasn't public. I mean, all of a sudden they're going to share that story with everyone. So this, like Tim just said, this basically equals 12 closings a year. And remember, this is like 90 minutes of work a week. So per client, but okay, it's still worth doing. This is real revenue you're leaving on the table. And the buyers, they end up not drifting away, right? They become referral engines. So here's 3 actions that I want you to do right now, because we're about to wrap up. So open up your phone, send this text to 5 agents who work with your buyer's neighborhood. This is the text. Hey, working with a serious buyer, XYZ neighborhood, XYZ price range, anything coming soon, cash strong. That's it. Send it right now.
Door 4.
Okay, 2. Tomorrow, pull a list of expireds from the last 90 days in that same neighborhood. Door 1, 3. Okay. By Friday, mail them 10 handwritten letters to specific owners on your buyer's target streets. Door 3.
Yeah. 4 doors, what, like 90 minutes a week?
Exactly. So you've been telling yourself you're a buyer's agent. Buyer's agents wait for the MLS. What did you just do? You opened a door. That's not what a buyer's agent does. That's what a buyer's broker does. You didn't show inventory. You created it.
Yeah. So go open the rest of the doors this week.
Yeah, buyers don't drift from brokers who bring them homes. So keep that in mind. I know it's not fun to be in a low inventory environment, but you're going to do things that almost no other agent is doing. You will get so many referrals, you can't believe it. So we will see everybody next week. Before you go, if you are an agent in the Chicagoland area, and we have listeners or viewers from all over the country, which is so exciting. But if you're here locally and you're not getting this kind of information from your brokerage, please give us a call. Tim and I would love to chat with you, see if Kale Realty might be a good fit. We can talk about your needs and see if we have some solutions for you. And Tim, thanks again. This was awesome.
Thank you.
We will see.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll see everybody next episode. All right.
Have a great day, everyone.